Mondays hit you hard like a punch to the face. Feeling like a marathon in a never-ending race. Working 9 to 5, trying to keep up the pace. But the struggle's real, can't keep up the chase. The rest of the week ain't much better, gotta admit. Every day feels like a bad script, but Mondays, man, they take the cake. Sucking out all the joy, gotta find an escape. Got the alarm clock screaming in my ear. Gotta drag myself up, get my head clear. But the Rush Hour podcast keeps me in check. Joking and laughing, they never neglect.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everybody out there. It's Dave Neal, and we are going to get this party started right now. We have a lot to get into in the Clayton, Echard, the Jane Doe paternity scandal rocking Bachelor Nation and abroad. And we're going to share all of your grassroots effort to find justice out there. What is a journalist? We can go over that a little bit today as we're hearing from Clayton's accuser's attorney that he actually wants publicity for this case. He says, bring it on. So you know what? We're going to do just that. We have so much to get into. Tiffany says, hello, in her Mrs. Doubtfire voice. Good to see you guys out there. I'm feeling extra shiny today. I used coconut oil on my face, which is a natural SPF. Did you guys know that? Kelly said, Dave, you are amazing, and anyone would be lucky to be your friend. Hey, that's good loyalty. Like, that's hard to find, and you are an amazing role model for your sweet baby boy. Oh, thank you so much. Well, look, we have a ton to get into, and we're going to start with some actual interesting. Well, you know what? I'll run you guys through some of the contents we're going to get to today, just so you guys know where we're at. We are going to cover the fact that Seeking Justice for Clayton Echard on Twitter has announced it's been a year since Clayton's fateful oral encounter with Jane Doe. Happy BJ Day, ? I'm not sure what day we should be calling this, but I do know that we need like a symbol for the day. And I'm going to go with my favorite bird, the swallow. I think let's move it on here. Scones for Justice will be talking a little bit about what was said by Jane's attorney, I guess upset that I'll be covering the trial June 10th. I don't know. We'll get into all of that and also so much more, including but not limited to what I believe to be some of the court documents, some of the forensic documents that show the text messages with all of the metadata that shows exactly the shenanigans, as it were, that were going on. So we're getting into all of this, not to mention, having been accused of not being a real journalist. I understand. I've actually got receipts, though. When those receipts come in, when, people go, you're not this, you're not that. And you go, all right, well, guess what? We'll play the receipts here. So according to my receipts, can I move the definition up? No, we're stuck in 720 right now. How are we stuck in 720? I thought I paid for the upgraded definition. I probably look like garbage on your end. But I'm trying my best, folks. Trying my best. So we'll get into what I actually said when I initially reported on this story and how my critical eye was immediately triggered, as it were. And I'll share some of that with you. Plus, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to redirect everybody to Megan Fox's live stream. She's going to have a live stream. I hate to have competing live streams. I just couldn't get mine up earlier today. I did not sleep over the weekend too much. Our baby was just learning how to burp, and I was learning how to burp him. I'm getting really good at it. I don't want any advice. There's nothing more annoying when you got to hold him like this. You got to push him this way when you got to hold his nose, and you got to tickle his knee, and then you got to, I don't need it. I understand. I watched a YouTube video too. So I've become the burping expert. Now I put him on this thing and I give him one immediate, there you go. So anyhow, it's amazing what a burp can do for a baby. They're really, burping will throw a baby off real quickly. And as we've seen, pretty easy to trigger Clayton's accuser. She, over the weekend, I guess, was sending, I guess you could call it cease and desist to other YouTubers. Although we do have information that one of the videos we were going to share looks like it's gone. Looks like it literally just went away in the last minute or two. So I don't know if that was her doing or whatnot. But again, we'll get into all of that. So rather than tell you what we're going to get into, we have about 500 people in the chat. Let's start getting into it. Somebody sent me this thing about a syndrome called legal abuse, and 8 steps for avoiding the traumatic stress caused by the justice system. I wish I had the initial source material, but I don't know what her Instagram is. This is one of those weird Instagrams where one person just stares blankly at the camera as they share someone else's content, and now you're going to get me doing the same. Have a listen.
So legal abuse syndrome was added.
Hold on. Let's go back here. Let's get the audio ready. This whole Instagram thing never works out well. So this is a pretty interesting video, though.
So legal abuse syndrome was added to the DSM-5 as a mental health disorder, as a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. And essentially what it is when a person is repeatedly brought back to court on false allegations, misinformation, as a form of coercive control. And this is a major issue in family court. My name is Christine. I'm a former divorce attorney, talking about the issues in family court, follow. But that being said, this family court is ripe for this because you can file motion after motion after motion. And oftentimes I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of perpetrators in family court by family court judges, other professionals, parenting coordinators, FOCs, GALs. The reality is perpetrators often look great. They speak great. They're so likable. They're charming. They're all of the things. And the person that's been held under the thumb for so many years, especially in an intimate situation, they almost appear crazy. And certainly you're going to become crazy if your children are withheld from you, or if someone continually lies about you in court, or if you just want to move on. You're spending tens of thousands of dollars.
So this obviously is a conversation about people that actually need to be in family court because they have families and babies. With Clayton's scenario, it's different. No babies ever transpired, right? As far as we know, those they were flushed down the old esophagus. So we can only imagine. Maybe there's other. Okay, don't need the visual. All right. So anyhow, kind of a whole year of this. So anyhow, it's interesting though that you can drag things out in the court system in family court, and usually, I think in most family court cases, it's usually in some cases one party that has a job and one party that doesn't. So you have one party that has possibly the money to compete in family court, and it can get very contentious when you are racking up the bill back and forth. We're seeing that with Clayton's case as she's racked the bill up. But now, the only thing that can sort of combat somebody with deep pockets is an internet of people with deep pockets. Her attorney doesn't like this. Her attorney doesn't like the journalism with a capital J that has been done. Again, not just by me or Reality Steve or Megan Fox or Legal Vices or Umbrella Guy or all of these other people that have really done a very good job elevating the story. But it's you guys. You guys are also investigative journalists because we show you documents, we show you ultrasounds, and you go, that's a Fiverr logo. And we're able to do something collectively that is of greater bandwidth than any single journalist could ever do. That no Barbara Walters out there could be looking at and go, that's a Fiverr logo. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do it. We do it with you. And the hard part about some of this vigilante journalism is making sure you don't have much collateral damage. So don't get it wrong. When the Boston bombings happened, people were looking on surveillance tapes and accusing the wrong people of this and that. We've been very targeted with our efforts to get to the truth without exposing names of possible people that are getting dragged into. We've tried very hard, but it is like diffusing a bomb. It is a very, very, you have to be very gentle and careful. And it's not something I've ever been a part of to this extent before. But this is very interesting, this idea that there is a sort of a term here. Warning, protracted litigation can be hazardous to your health. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. So says Karen Huffer, whose experience as a marriage and family counselor in private practice and the wife of a businessman who was brutally defrauded in the courts uniquely qualifies her as an expert on the subject. Huffer discovered that many of the legal system's victims suffer from a variant of post-traumatic stress disorder, which she had themed legal abuse syndrome. The condition derives from the abusive and protracted litigation that many plaintiffs commonly encounter in the courts. According to Huffer, you may be suffering from legal syndrome if you feel deeply disillusioned and oppressed as a result result of your experience with the legal system. If you have been frustrated in your efforts to obtain justice, if you feel your dreams and plans for your life were torn from you by a system that supposedly were there to protect your rights and property, if you fear that the system will defeat you at every turn and there is nothing you can do about it, and if you feel you have been victimized several times over by the perpetrators, by lawyers, judges, bailiffs, and other court personnel. So what we've seen was the system being misused in the past, and now we're seeing the righting of that system, righting of the way. Now, not everybody likes this. Not everybody likes this. Got folks sent me this nice tweet here from Jane's attorney. Folks, I'm on vacation this week, so my silence is intentional. So funny when someone says they're silent, but they're not. I mean, look, take the week off, Bubba. You're on vacation. You don't need to hear from us. We'll be fine. As the LO trial and threats of having real media and the public cover the trial, that's good news. Bring it. Real journalists cover both sides and provide honest, neutral info. That's always welcome. American flag, American flag, American flag. So then we've got this very bizarre, I guess, email. Although I don't know what computer would be used. I mean, this looks like a computer you use in the late 1990s, right? Doesn't this look like what in the hell is this? Anyhow, it says Jane Doe paternity case. David, sent on Friday, 1:39 p.m. Which, by the way, it's the exact time that Jane Doe sends out all of her emails. David, the plans for the public to attend the trials are getting more intense. Ooh, no, not people going to, they are planning a tailgate with drinks, food, badges, and more. This will be extremely distressing to your client if it plays out. Dave Neal is openly planning on renting an RV and recording equipment. He is also offering to provide free coffee and scones to those who attend. Please take action soon. I feel like please take action soon could be some sort of, hit song. So anyhow, the scales, the scones of justice have really been, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, do I plan to be there? Yes. Do I plan to rent an RV? A cargo van. Why am I renting a cargo van? Well, it's going to be 100 degrees. And and by the way, this is going to be very expensive. Even the cheapest cargo vans are $300. But when you factor in insurances and cleaning fees, it's $600. But I need a power. I need the power. I need electricity. I need air conditioning. I need all of these things. Not for me. Are you kidding me? I had a baseball game in Scottsdale late summer, and it was 114 degrees. I pitched 5.5 innings. I sweat 3 gallons of water. I'm okay. I am hydrated to hell on my cold brew coffee. I'm good. My camera's not so much. My cameras and laptop will overheat if they're in the sun or even in that heat for too long. So I need a cargo van. I will be renting one so that I can be out there. The trial starts at 8:45. My plan is to be live reporting under the canopy in front of the courthouse at 7:30. I will be out there covering everything for new people that are just getting involved, who's going to be showing up as people walk by. We'll be covering them. I'll be maybe interviewing anyone who wants to jump on camera, have conversations, Reality Steve, Meg Fox, whoever else is there that wants to talk. And then we will go into the camper van for the trial, continue live streaming from inside the air conditioning, letting all of the camera batteries and everything cool down. I'm going to bring multiple cameras in case we lose one. It's going to, I have to, look, I don't have a $100,000 or $200,000 setup. In order to properly live stream with, a cameraman and all of the equipment and I don't have that. So I'm using what I have. I'm getting air conditioning to make sure that I can cover all of that. And that's where I'll be. And will I be providing scones? You bet your carbohydrated butt I will be. If people want to show up, I don't need to encourage. Here's a big thing that I have an issue with. People think I'm the one pouring gasoline on this. You guys are there because you're interested in justice, because you feel like it hasn't arrived in the past 8 years since somebody's, all of this nonsense. You guys will be there. I'm going to be reporting. I'm also going to ask anyone who's a fan or supporter of mine to make sure that everybody who's there stays positive energy. If anyone wants to bring any posters, I say bring those posters for Mike, Clayton, Greg, Matt, Isabel, Greg. Isabel better have posters there. Isabel is one of the lead attorneys who's been covering this case at Woodnick Law, and she better have some Isabel posters with some glitters, all of that. I would love it if people are clapping when these men walk in, if they want to support them. I would not like it if anyone says anything verbally to Jane Doe. My preference would be if Jane Doe walks in and you want some form of, dissent, some form of letting her know you don't agree with, and it's your opinion that she's wronged the system. I would say do one of two things: put your thumb down or turn around. Just turn around when she shows up and just stand there as she walks by. That's what I would do if I were you. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I mean, you could show up and just yell things out of a bullhorn all day. Maybe you're not allowed to use artificial sound. I don't know, but you can do whatever you want to the extent that the law says. I don't encourage that. Just like I didn't encourage people to threaten her when she accused me of like rallying my audience and all of that. I mean, it's been one thing after another that's been used in a way to make it seem as though I'm a risk to her. I'm not the one making myself the story, but it feels like her attorney wants to be the center of the story and wants to make me the center of the story. It's almost as if he's trying to arm wrestle me, and I'm like, Bubba, I don't want to arm wrestle you. I feel strong and good. That's stupid. And it feels like he's the one at the cocktail party who wants to like rip his shirt off and go jump in the pool. And I'm like, let's just enjoy the pigs in the blanket. We don't, you know what I mean? So anyway, he says real journalists cover both sides and provide honest, neutral info. Well, what he doesn't, I guess, remember is that I actually am the first, call it what you want, real journalist to cover this story after The Sun essentially made a hit job in an unfair fight, an anonymous woman versus Clayton Echard, a hit job that we then later learned was actually, cherry-picked text messages from her. She says things like, I paid $700 for a paternity exam. He hasn't even responded. Well, yeah, she didn't mention the part that he had blocked her at that point because he, claimed she was harassing him. So let's just go through a couple clips. Let me catch my breath here. We'll go through a couple clips of what I said in my first reporting 8 months ago. And I'm not here to take a victory lap or anything like that, but it is interesting to have a conversation about what real journalism looks like. And when you get into journalism, it's very basic, right? Journalists can be broadcast, print, advertising, PR. Depending on the form of journalist, may also describe various categories of people by the roles they play in the process. Correspondents, citizen journalists, editors, editorial writers, columnists, and photojournalists. A reporter is a type of journalist who researches, writes, and reports on information in order to present using sources. This may entail conducting interviews, information gathering, and or writing articles. I would say the main form of journalism our community has done is information gathering, that being I'm not the one knocking on doors. Like Megan Fox is great at making phone calls and doing press inquiries. I'm kind of just I've been a magnet for people sending me information. And I'm just the long form visual guy that does it. Justice for Clayton, so many others behind the scenes, the Flock, of course, all these other communities, people that have been by my side to help me filter and mine all of this information. We've received literal mountains of information, and so many people have had to sift through it to the point where it goes, Dave, Fiverr logo right there. So it's hard to almost explain and describe the type of journalism going on. But I'm telling you guys in the audience right now, you take a victory lap. You take an absolute victory lap right now for the work you guys have done to get so many eyeballs on so many different things, to finally be able to say, you know what? Oh, this is BS. Look at this. You guys, some of you might not even remember on the early days of me covering this story, she was saying, oh, those other cases are sealed. They must be sealed. She would say they must be sealed because people didn't have the records to them. Turns out they weren't sealed. And all she did was stall the story for about a month. For about a couple of weeks to a month, people were afraid, oh, these cases must be sealed. And then real lawyers called me and said, oh, I live in this county. That's not sealed at all. You can report on it fair and square, blah, blah, blah. But she got away with this for so long. So the video I'm about to share with you is unlisted. If anyone wants to watch the full video, I don't even know why it's still unlisted, but I'll put it on the Patreon. It's completely fair the way I looked at it. What I did was I broke down the article that was the beginning of the defamation of Clayton Echard, which is what it is, because he lost a lot of work due to all of these bogus claims. And I read it for the first time and I said, I don't know. I'm smelling something right now. Heavily pregnant with twins. So here's what we know. There is a person who wants to remain anonymous, and then the U.S. Sun is going to be sneaking in clues about who this person is. The U.S. Sun can reveal from court filings that he had been in talks with another girl shortly after that time, but she wishes to remain anonymous. That girl being this random one-night stand. Now, when you click on the hyperlink here for court filings, you would think, oh, maybe this will actually be the court filings. No, it leads to nothing. So very frustrating that the U.S. Sun looks like it's real news, but it's really not. I mean, it's real garbage. I mean, maybe they, broken clocks still write twice a day, but they knew what they were doing in the way they covered this. They protected their ass so quickly. The woman goes on to say that she's offered more than 50 times in writing for him to take a paternity test. Again, at this point, he's probably blocked her. At one point, they both had the paternity test scheduled and were set to go. The woman paid $725 as a deposit, but Clayton never responded and the test was canceled due to the reality star's unwillingness to participate. Now, what we know since then is that he took 4 different paternity tests, 3 of which came back little to no fetal DNA. The fourth one was, I don't know, lost in a tornado or something. So, boy, hindsight, pretty interesting stuff here. Has received photos of the girl taken at the end of July in an attempt to confirm the pregnancy. All right, so the U.S. Sun received photos that were sent to confirm the pregnancy, but the U.S. Sun doesn't say whether or not they thought that confirmed the pregnancy. Am I getting dumber by reading this? Yes, I am, and I've only gotten dumber since then. So the U.S. Sun knows that none of this is verified. A belly photo of hers is not verified, but what it does show, and what we've seen in hindsight, is that she wrote out to dozens of different places. New York Post, Page 6, The Sun, Us Week. I mean, all of these different places she wrote to. And this is the only magazine that covered the story. But as it turns out, not only did Jane Doe fly too close to the sun, but now, it's possible that on June 10th, her wings do fall off. Let's continue. I'm going to play a couple more clips. Not giving it the time of day, because it's baseless. We did not have sexual intercourse. In Clayton's response to the girl's petition, which was filed on August 21st, the former Bachelor requested a court-ordered paternity test and that the petitioner pay all the cost. He also requested to be awarded attorney's fees since he believes the case is groundless and lacking in merit, and told the court they never had sexual. So the only thing that's remained constant in this whole story is that Clayton says it is groundless.
I just took a DNA test.
So he took the DNA test. In fact, one of the DNA tests he was taking, on his way to take it, he found out that it was canceled that day, and then he uncanceled it. That's how badly Clayton wanted to take these tests. Now, of course, we talk about the idea of twins and why twins may exist, and folks said, well, at the time it was believed you couldn't do a prenatal paternity test on twins. So it was kind of the perfect out if you were to fake being pregnant. Once pregnant, she should be showing right now. Of course, she wants to be anonymous, which makes this all the more bizarre that they're teasing that she's a podcast host. And I'm not even looking into who she is. It's like, if she wants to be anonymous, fine. But why are they giving us breadcrumbs? She's a podcast host. And we thought she probably wanted them to figure out who she was. But as it turns out, I believe the US Sun gave enough breadcrumbs, maybe because they felt the story was meritless and they wanted people to look into it. That's always a possibility. Now, you might say, well, they shouldn't have reported on it in the first place. Well, smut does smut. That's what they do. But so it's interesting. By the way, we had 1,000 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much, Brianne Wilson, for the scones and tea fund. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's going to cost us a couple $1,000s to get to the courthouse and report the way we're doing it. But by golly, I mean, I'm flying my my wife's mom in to make sure that she's flying in to make sure that my wife's got extra help watching the baby, because my wife knows it's important. It's very important that I be there, not just for personal reasons, as I've covered this, but also to continue to get this story told. Stick around, folks. I've got a big announcement I'm going to make in about 5 or 10 minutes. A big announcement, and it will change everything. And you guys are continuing to be a part of that process to confirm the pregnancy. Again, these are her words, the anonymous person that we don't know. So I have not vetted whether or not this is true, but this is what they're saying. The motion for contempt doc went on to state petitioner complied and the pregnancy test was positive. So clearly we covered this in a fair way. I mean, I read her article, we covered it. And what else can you say about that, right? 2 more quick clips. They have more credibility. We don't even know if this was just a phone call where the reporter is just hearing what she had to say, versus we don't know if the reporter said, I looked at the screen grabs, I saw we don't have any of that. He allegedly told her, if it ends up being my child, I've decided that either you'll take 100% custody of the child or it will be put up for adoption. I will not be raising it in any capacity. Another message he allegedly sent her was, my hatred will only grow if you decide to put me again. Another message he allegedly sent her, and not realizing that he knew at this point that it was completely meritless. And that's why his hatred for her grew, not because he believed she was pregnant. So it actually, 8 months later, it's the same story, right? Her lawyer is arguing she believes she was pregnant. Clayton's arguing she knew she wasn't and she did this. And at this point, Clayton knew there was another, that this had happened in the past. Not to the extent that it has happened. Our last clip. It's part of a court exhibit. The woman wrote, when I told him I was pregnant, he started writing erratic, illogical, and threatening messages. He has been clear that being a father has not been in his life plan and would get in the way of his dating and professional life. The email continued, I am very concerned about my safety and I don't know what actions Clayton will take because he is so volatile, controlling, demeaning, and hateful. I have asked him on many occasions to reassure me that he will not hurt me or our unborn babies, and he will not respond to that simple question. I told him I would file a police report if he didn't. So she's alleging she wants to get him to say he won't hurt her. And because he wouldn't say he wouldn't hurt her, she filed a police report. Well, look, if someone says, hey, Dave, tell me you won't burn down that barn. And I say, I'm not going to tell you I won't burn down that barn. You can't call the police and say, hey. All right. So you get the point, right? Pretty wild stuff. I mean, this line right here was when I first felt like it was BS. And as a journalist and as a researcher being a sort of subsegment of journalism, as a researcher, that's when I began to say, we need to get down to the bottom of this. And speaking of the bottom, Stephanie Lennon with $10 super chat says, happy blow-anniversary from the bottom of the barrel. Indeed. Thank you so much for that. So I share all of this with you. And again, if you want to see the full thing, link in the comment section, patreon.com/Dave Neal. You can watch these videos. I've unlisted them because at this point she was like heavily threatening to sue me. And I was like, I gotta private these until I figure out if everything's fair. Everything's fair. This is super fair. So I've relooked at all of that and, I feel good about it. But yeah, anyway, people back in the day, the comment sections were hilarious. Clayton's going to be okay. As long as she takes a pregnancy test, he should take the test. Like, people didn't know. Right. And I share all of this with you guys just to share that, nobody was necessarily on Clayton's side initially. Within days, people figured it out. Oh boy, he's been through it with false claims, hasn't he? Straight out of a Jerry Springer episode. Poor Clayton. The comment sections were interesting because people wanted to get down to the truth. And by this time, this story moved so fast that it started to look like she may be sharing a very skewed aspect of what was going on. But to say we didn't share her side is beyond rubbish. It's beyond rubbish. We shared her side. It just turns out her side has more holes than Swiss cheese. So who's this email from? It doesn't really matter, right? But it's from somebody who, wants to be very private. Again, it's from somebody who is speaking in terms that may be like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jane Doe will use this information to say she's allowed to attend virtually. I wouldn't be surprised about that. If I were her, I don't think I would want to be there in person, not because of fear for my safety, but because if she loses, I think it'll be quite embarrassing for her. But the idea that we're planning a tailgate with drinks, I mean, it's going to be very hot. I've told people bring coolers. People could bring coolers and drinks and beverages so that if they do want to stay there, there's a park there. And so my suggestion, I'm not organizing this because I want to stay strictly focused on reporting what happens there. And for me, that means taking care of the cargo van. Yes, I will. I am going to bring scones and croissants and things like that for people. And whatever's left over, we'll donate if there's anything left over to like a shelter or whatever, whatever. We'll just make sure everybody's taken care of. But my reason for being there is, I mean, what are you going to tell on me? That's what's so funny. I've been saying this for months now that I plan to be there. Absolutely. I planned to be at my trial in the Los Angeles Superior Court. I bought refundable tickets because I knew the game she was playing. And I knew that in playing that game, she was going to drop the charges, which she did. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Coffee and Cup Fund. And then also $20 super chat from Prez. Thumbs down for Janeth Doeth. Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. If you disagree with her, put your thumbs down or turn around. I think that's the best thing. Or you could yell shame. I don't know, do whatever the hell you want, really. But by all means, she will be safe as she's walked into the courthouse. By all means, I won't have anything to do with any of that. Now, I've probably got more risk for my own safety, to be quite honest, than she does, because I don't know what she or her team is capable of doing to continue to threaten journalism from happening. But obviously, with the amounts of defamation lawsuits thrown out there, I think it's safe to say, and let's read some of your comments. I think it's safe to say that it is not, I mean, it's just foolish, some of the things going on. Comments from this said, sir, you are the only one that has threatened people. It's a public hearing and the public and media are allowed. Insulting and threatening to sue a journalist that will be there to cover the trial may not have been a good move. Sorry to hear that your client didn't tell you the truth about her relationship with Greg Gillespie. I'm sure that makes your job harder. Well, the truth is that, even to this day, her attorney goes, I don't know anything about an ultrasound. He keeps on saying, I want the truth. People send me the truth. We send him the truth. Ultrasounds that are proven to be fabricated, proven to be ripped off, cancer documents proven to be sent from her, even though she didn't have cancer, all of these things. And he goes, man, I don't really believe it. And it's like, oh, clearly we've seen what the agenda is. Clearly we've seen the agenda. So we raised the money. You guys raised the money for this just incredible reporting, investigative reporting done as money was raised to get the forensics of the laptop from Mike Maricini. A laptop he was literally about to sell. And he said, you know what? This laptop hasn't been turned on in the internet. This laptop was the equivalent of like when you have a Pokemon card that's unopened. He had the Charizard, I don't know, Pokemon cards. He had the, Shoeless Joe, whatever, baseball card, the rookie Barry Bonds card. By this laptop not having been connected to the internet, it is pristine. It is encapsulated in a time period like 2017 or whenever, when this all went down. So it's just, you couldn't ask for a more rich and robust piece of evidence. So much so that the investigative person who was in the Air Force Academy, who's done hundreds, if not thousands of expert witnesses, and clearly he wouldn't be an expert witness if he had any ethical issues. I mean, this guy is A+. And this guy says, yeah. She not only claimed to be pregnant, she claimed she had cancer. She claimed that she was pregnant with twins, because we thought at first, oh, the previous cases, she never said twins. With Greg Gillespie, she lied to my face. She flipping lied to my face and said, I never claimed twins. We have an audio, you idiot. We have audio of her being, see that one right there, and that one's no longer viable, but this one is, talking about them like she's at a Chinese buffet. Yeah, give me that over there. No, this one, no one talks about their kids that way. No one talks about human life that way. It's disgusting. So we proved her wrong. We proved that she was lying through her teeth to us on multiple occasions. The funniest part, though, is she really does think she's smarter than people, which, to be quite honest, is probably why she thought she could get away with this. I know I wouldn't be able to get away with a lie of this nature. I guess I'm smart enough to know I'm not that smart. You know what I mean? She's not smart enough to think she's that smart. Does that make sense? Am I being poetic right now? So she sends all of this, and we go, gosh, yeah, we feel bad for Gingras, her attorney. He must not have known this was all going on. So I said, funny how Gingras thinks we are all only telling one side of the story after 8 years of her exploiting her side. Haven't seen any real attempts by Jane Doe to get their computer forensic expert to look at the laptop. Because they said, well, we have to find an expert. By the way, she has money to find, she's quick to find experts in other realms. Finding a computer forensics expert would be easy. Finding an expert who's willing to lie is not easy. And you kind of need, it's one thing to find a medical expert to say, well, she could have been pregnant. I mean, look, a guy could have sneezed on her and gotten her pregnant if the sperm could have traveled to the air, all these stupid hypotheticals, right? Well, hard to have a hypothetical with hard data, hard evidence that is timestamped to hell. So someone was interesting in their response here. They go, he doesn't think that. In my opinion, it's prep work to ensure that if this story becomes a proper famous, which he wants, even though Jane Doe doesn't, he gets his piece of airtime. All he asks is to get under stage lights to tell Jane's side. This is interesting. Now, we know for a fact, right? Her attorney, unless he's got some sort of neurological problem, understands she's lying. That has to be the case. That has to be the case. He's even said it. She has a credibility issue. He knows she lied in the stance that she's admitted to lying about the header of ultrasounds. He's wiggled around that. And to him, defending a client that is nearly indefensible is some sort of extra hurdle. It's a black diamond ski, trail here. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe it's my fault that we pimped out this documentary so much. Maybe it's my fault that by making this story and elevating it into a place where it's got more publicity, it attracts people like him who could be dangerous with what they want to do with that publicity. I'm okay taking that bet. I'm okay if the elevation of the public eye to this story means that we have folks like him who want a piece of the pie. It's enjoy the pie. Enjoy the pie. You know what I mean? That's fine if that's what it comes down to. Now, here's some bombshell stuff I want to talk about. And I'll tell you this right now. What I'm about to share with you, I am going to go in further depth on today's Patreon. I will go into further depth of what I'm going to tell you right now on today's Patreon. So if you don't want the Patreon, just read between the lines right now. Someone said, check out your emails. Let me see if I have an email. So read between the lines right now. Let's see what people have just said. Got a lot of podcasts coming up. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah, I'm getting information that we've already seen. Thank you. So we had a grassroots effort last week to get the attention of a very prominent journalist, a journalist that moderated presidential debates, a journalist that's worth a ton of money. At my last count, $45 million. All I'm going to say right now, I'll elaborate more on Patreon. All I'm going to say right now is your efforts to email that journalist, your efforts to elevate that story so that that journalist knows about it, those efforts worked way faster than I could have imagined. Way faster, to the point where 1,000 people in this chat, if that led to 100 emails, we definitely had at least 100. That got people's attention to the point where it will provide new efforts to look at this case. And what I'm going to share with you today is what we're going to do with that. So luckily, we've got the blessing, not that we need it, of Clayton's accuser's attorney saying, that's good news that real media want to cover this. Well, good, because they are. Now, another real journalist and commentator is who we're going to talk about next. And we are going to ask everybody in this chat right now to get the attention of Piers Morgan. You may like or not like Piers Morgan. I've been quite critical of him in different ways because he is part of that like sensationalist. You know, he's gotten a lot of heat for the way he has conducted his interview with Fiona Harvey, the real life baby reindeer lady. But I'm telling you right now, I believe he's the type of journalist that will tell people how it is. I wrote to Piers just now, and I'm going to ask everybody if they can to retweet this. And also, I'm going to ask the chat, can we find out? CM said Piers Morgan is a douche. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's a douche. It doesn't matter if he's an asshole. What matters is that the story and the facts that exist get shared. So we need to do a good job. And again, I respect your opinions. We need, and Claude said, pure disdain. Sure, we need to get people like him to cover this story when other mainstream media won't. Now, we've tried to get, an expose with Rolling Stones. They said, oh, this sounds really interesting, but they passed. It didn't fit their agenda. It wasn't big enough. It wasn't whatever enough. We need this story to come out. Regardless of your personal thoughts on Piers Morgan, he's somebody that will continue to get the ball rolling. Now, he might already know about this due to other media coverage that's coming out. But I'm telling you guys right now, we need this. I need it from the aspect of I need the metaphorical artillery. I need the tanks and the people that will elevate this story to the point where I won't be the single small time, less than 100,000 subscriber YouTuber who's going to get sued to high hell. I think they've threatened to sue me now for up to $140 million. Claire said Rolling Stone will stand behind Jane Doe. And look, if they want to write a piece about her based on information they obtain, go for it. I'm so confident that I'm not pushing people. I don't need to push people into how to believe. Read the court documents. Read it all yourself. Do your own research. Hey, Piers, I've got a real life baby reindeer story playing out in the court system here in the States. Now, of course, it's different than baby reindeer in a lot of ways, but it's similar in the sense that there are male victims that did not have their story being heard. Former Bachelor on ABC is in court with lady that accuses him of being the father of her unborn twins. Twins never came. Ultrasounds were fabricated. Continuing, we then found out about 3 other men who also faced twin claims. An ultrasound was unearthed with a Fiverr logo. And forensic experts verified that she also claimed she had cancer with one man, all in a bid to convince them to date her. This story needs to be elevated as some people abuse the court system and have been getting away with it for years. Their trial date is a few weeks away, but a community, Clayton's Justice, has been set up to expose the proven fraud. What I need from you guys, at the very least, right now, is to retweet this. We also need to find out who is we need to find out what is the proper email address for, and we're gonna do this right now. So if you don't mind, stick with me right now. I Piers Morgan contact. I didn't have this set up beforehand. This says feedback@talkradio.co. I don't know if that's a good one here. Let's see. How can we get in touch with him? Let me know. Could somebody help me out with this and let me know? Like, I need reputable. Let's go to his website here, official Piers Morgan, and let's see if we can find it. And again, I'm going to be going on as many podcasts as that. This looks like not official. Gosh, it's a terrible website. It's a really bad website. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Piers, but you know, as I said before, we just need to do we need to make sure we just put aside whatever, beef you have based on someone's opinion or even their political. Now look, like if Tucker Carlson wanted to cover this story, I'm sorry. We gave months for left-leaning media to do the right thing. So I'm not going to apologize as a progressive person if the only people that want to cover this are like free rights, First Amendment rights people. Howard Stern would be great. Today we're working on Piers Morgan. We have to be very so for those that have my phone number, send me a text message if you can help out, or send me an email if you can find out the email address for Piers, and we're going to make sure we send this because we just need to make sure. I keeps coming back to this. I just don't believe this is it. This looks so old. I'd hate for all of us to send an email to him. Let's find his producer, Piers Morgan. What's his show called? Piers Morgan Uncensored. So let's go here and then, let's go here and then, let's see if we can find a way. But definitely if you retweet this, it'll get to his, so we already have 25 retweets, but if you retweet this, it'll get to his show right here, Piers Uncensored. And then let's just see if there's a way to cover this. Make sure to follow them, to send them a DM. I don't know. Piers Morgan Uncensored. Let's go back here. Piers Morgan Uncensored website. And let's just try to find a contact for him. What is this ACAST? Talk.tv. Is it on Talk.tv? Stream the latest Piers Morgan Uncensored documentaries, shows, and movies on Fox Nation. Anyway. Cynthia said, if you can get Piers' attention and he gets it, he will not let go. Mary said Andy Signore would be great for this too. Yes, he would be. Is it Signore or Signor? I'm actually gonna send him a message today and get him on the podcast this week, hopefully. He knows about this, but I think he's just been busy covering other things that are a little bit bigger. So anyhow, let's do Howard Stern on another day. Yeah, when you retweet, tag him and also Signor. Okay, Signore. It's me and the Signore. Signor. Have I been on his channel? I've DM'd with him. Cass said that's the email I found. Well, hold on. I got to go through my emails. This is why I asked someone to email it to me. I'm sure I'll be getting a lot of emails coming in, but I don't have, I'm not seeing any emails here. So someone send me a message or whatever so I can look at it. The text messages are flying in. So Kara said Megan's sharing her email from David. Yeah, we're going to go to that next. I'm getting out of here in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So let's see. I'm going to check and see my inbox right now. Okay. Here's the email I'm getting. piers.morgan@news.co.uk. I don't know. Can anyone else verify if this is his email? I don't know if this is his email. but let's do this. Okay, we're going to send it. We're going to send an email to multiple people. Okay. And if you just give me a minute here, I'm going to put together I'm going to send the same email we sent to Megyn Kelly, even if it has a typo in it. It was good luck. And by the way, I mean, guys, this was huge to get Megyn Kelly, to get her attention. Okay. This was huge. And we sent this out. I'm trying to think of the day we all sent an email to Megyn Kelly. We sent this out probably May 17th or something. We called it here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy and paste the whole thing here, and we're going to send this to Piers. So people before asked like, hey, how should we do this? Send what you want to send. Whatever you sent to Megyn Kelly, send that again. Some people sent like really nice statements about why this trial has affected them. Really, whatever you want to do here. But I'm going to, I've got a few different email addresses coming in. So we're going to send this to piers.morgan@news.co.uk. And we're also going to send it to feedback@talk.tv. Feedback@talk.tv. If anyone has any other emails they want to give, feedback@talk.tv. Let me know if there's any other emails. And we're going to call this real life baby reindeer happening in USA. Hey, Piers and team. Did I spell his name right? Piers. Hey, Piers and team. Can you guys see what I'm working on here? All right, people are tagging me with investigative reporters. Thank you. Right now, I'm isolating Piers Morgan. To be quite honest, no offense to the local reporters in Phoenix, but I think we're getting a bigger media draw than they are right now. We need national. We need international. Taz said, Dave, poster link to Patreon, please. What does that mean? Rebecca said, isn't baby reindeer real life? Sure. But we're trying to just get people's attention here. Clayton, please consider looking at how one I want to make sure that I didn't. I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to send this email. Okay. All right. Font is too small to see. So there it is. Screen grab it. Do what you want. Hey, Piers and team. You don't have to include that you're a stand-up comedian. I did. Clayton, former Bachelor, is in a wild paternity scandal. So there it is. Please investigate. Okay. So the address we're looking at right now is piers.morgan@news.co.uk and feedback@talk.tv. And Andy Signora was on his show last week. So we know, I mean, he's obviously covering this story already, but we know that there's going to be a lot more to cover. So yeah, I appreciate everybody. There's 1,000 people in the chat. You don't have to CC me on it. I mean, do whatever you want. CC me on, guys. Everyone's saying, what about Katie Kirk? What about this? Just everybody make sure you do Piers Morgan today. It's a lot easier to focus on one person that will cover it. And then maybe we'll get the ball rolling with others. But anyway, I'm going to get off this, I'm going to get off this right now. Someone said this timeline never works. All right. Well, what's another timeline? What's wrong with Padlet? Yeah, that Piers Morgan interview was crazy when they had that lady on who was just like yelling the whole time. It was absolutely nuts. So whether or not they isn't there like a what's the wiki page? What's wrong with that? justiceforclayton.com. Is that still updated? justiceforclayton.com? Somebody just sent me a possible connection for Piers Morgan. I don't use LinkedIn, so LinkedIn asked me to sign up and all that nonsense. If anyone has an actual email address for a producer, please let me know. But by all means, tag whoever you can. And I think we'll get his attention. All right. I'm sending mine. Let me get off of this. I need to protect my inbox here. I'm sending it right now. And I'm going to be leaving you guys in a little bit. We do have some more stuff to cover. The Patreon is going to go live at about 12:30 Central Standard Time today. Pap said, what's the quickie of where everything stands? I can't do that right now. But the trial is set for June 10th. Justice for Clayton wiki. All right, so I shared the Justice for Clayton wiki. Yeah, the baby reindeer story is a great way to get this thing kind of like attached to another movement. Georgia, $7 Canadian, said, hope Clayton is one day able to enjoy blowies again. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? Elishiva, $5, said, as a mother of two sons and has also lost twins, I implore you to stand up for all the real moms of angel babies. Absolutely. And I'm sorry for your loss. Really. That's so sad and tragic. But thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. Am I joining Megan's live? I don't know. But I am going to be making, I've got a doctor's appointment for the baby today. All good stuff. So I've got a lot going on. I finally got some sleep last night. So I sent those emails to, let's see, Piers Morgan. And thank you, Rhonda, for also sending. I'm already getting CCs from people that are also sending emails. Thank you guys all so much. To be quite honest, the thing that got the attention of whatchamacallit, the thing that got the attention of Megyn Kelly was Twitter. So just so you guys know, that's what worked. Looks like we lost a page here. So we're going to go back and do a few more things in a second here. But yeah, what worked with Megyn Kelly was Twitter. So maybe their emails too, but they definitely got the Twitter really worked. And we're at 47 right now. And I'm going to ask people to continue to repost this. And really, we're just going to try to get both of these accounts really interested in what we're doing. Let's see. I don't want to go. I'll check my DMs and just see. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say they're probably right on this. They're 8 hours ahead of us. So they're probably right on us. So we'll cover that a little bit more. But let me just wrap up with a few other things going on here. And we will get into, I see what I did wrong. I need to change this. Hold on. Just got to share my screen here. So, yeah. So, this idea by her attorney that he wants this publicity. The only thing he wants is publicity for himself, which is perfectly fine. Now, when I leave you right now, it's going to redirect you to Megan Fox's stream. Trust me when I say she's in the thick of it with her attorney. They've been going back at it. He says she's not a real journalist. She's a troll. Look, everything he does is a false dichotomy. You can be a troll and also a journalist. Like, does she get under people's skin? Yeah, she does. But at the same time, maybe that's part of her sort of pick that gets into the actual, that gets into the soil there to try to unearth some of this stuff. R. Luis said, Dave, reach out to Andy Signor from Popcorn Planet as well. He has a big audience and covers stories like this. Plus, he has a connection to Piers Morgan. Yeah, I am going to reach out to him specifically about his conversation with Piers Morgan, and maybe he'll come do the Rush Hour. If I do get Andy on, we're going to go on YouTube, probably on podcast only at the Rush Hour podcast. He actually agreed to come on a while ago, but it was while I was moving, so I didn't have really the resources to make that happen at the time. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, this is what, when we talk about who's doing the right journalism, I mean, this is it. People that are watching this stuff and showing the absurdity. Again, this was after she was supposed to have said she was, I guess, according to some of her counts, she had already miscarried at this point. My wife at 9+ months pregnant never had her belly look this big. Jane Doe's a very, very small person. She's tiny. She's a literal tiny person. She's very toned, skinny, small. We've seen video of her. I mean, she's not big. She would never have a belly this size. And then other people have said, well, not only is it the adjusting of the belly, but if you look at the creases in her arms, you can see that she's wearing a lot of their, undershirts. And chances are, if there is a moon bump, it's more like tank top only. And that could be why she's wearing clothing right there, because it just continues to make it a little hard to tell. But
I don't think the court has to try to do that. I don't think that request should be granted.
So you can see the wrinkle in the arms there.
Request should be granted.
And not to mention she's standing up for a 2-hour trial. I mean, it's just a bogus. So anyway, some of your comments really just go to show here, like on the actual forensic paperwork that showed all of the text messages where she says that she's pregnant with twins and all these things. Your comments are just so interesting, so wild. To think that Jane Doe hadn't made a post herself that got popular on Reddit, I might have never heard of the story. Someone said, I knew it was a con when the Sun article dropped, but it wasn't until she started arguing on Reddit that I knew she was a con artist faking it all. She buried herself coming to Reddit to argue with sleuthers. I know, if you know, you know. It was wild. So you guys might not remember this, but early on, she was in Reddit, verified it was her, and she was arguing back and forth. At the same time, I was blocked from the Bachelor subreddit right before this came out. And then the Bachelor subreddit went like radio silent on this. They went radio silent on Clayton. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I can never forgive them for that. They literally had the chance. The Bachelor subreddit is one of the biggest platforms of all of Bachelor Nation. There's 400,000 people that are a part of it. They had the chance to do the right thing, to be heroes in a story that was exposing fraud and protecting somebody that needed their defense. My opinion as to why they didn't curate that conversation, because that's all I'm doing is curating a conversation. My opinion is they were afraid to be sued, which I understand, but they were also afraid that they'd be, defending a man. It's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain because we don't really I don't know why they banned this conversation. So they share the most conservative, and I don't mean that on a political level, but if there's a rock hard fact that comes out, they'll share it. But if anyone knows Reddit and anyone knows Bachelor Nation, they'll share anything that has to do with all these other things, crazy speculation, conversations about this and that. But when it came to this, done. Done. Someone had commented, there's zero chance the majority of us would have ever heard this story. Jane put Clayton between a rock and a hard place with her choice of date me or I'm going public to ruin you. Her plan briefly worked before imploding under the weight of her lies, fraudulent documents, and long history of deceit. She's got no one to blame but herself. I think she's going to try to control the court date June 10th with some imagined drama. But the only thing she faces are plain old consequences, nothing more. I think that she's exploring a way with this email to make it so that the date gets pushed or something. As if I'm the problem. They're planning a tailgate. Motion to keep the audience dehydrated. We can't have them drinking water. The funny part is badges. They're planning a tailgate. They're going to have badges. Hey, what if I bring my trophy? Dave Neal plans to bring a trophy to the tailgate. Good riddance. And maybe people will tailgate. I don't know what they're going to do. What I'll be doing is my flipping job, which is to continue to expose the lies. Ruth said this email is 1000% Jane Black. Sounds like it to me. I looked to see if this email existed on Patreon and I couldn't find it, but some people were saying, oh, maybe it's, and again, Transforma, like what were they, who knows? But either way, I will offer free scones to David Gingrich if he wants to have a scone before the trial. And also open invitation to Jane Doe, to David Gingrich, and to any witnesses if they want to jump on our channel and continue to share their side after the trial. Hey, they could win. They could win either on a technicality or the judge. I mean, it's a bench trial. The judge could argue in Jane Doe's favor. The judge could make it a complete draw, which is like no one wins. They could do whatever they want. Ruth said Megan Fox Transforma. So they thought that maybe Megan Fox, like this was used as a Megan Fox joke. It does look like there could be a G and then an F there. So it does look like that could be Megan Fox. If you were to, so look right here. Now we don't believe Megan Fox would have sent this, but maybe it's a little long for Megan Fox, but it kind of, the G would be the only letter that would go below the level. And then the F would be the only letter that goes above the level. So could this be Megan Fox Transforma? Yeah, sure. But it wouldn't be Megan Fox. It would be someone doing a joke about her. Christine said, did anyone solve if that email for Piers Morgan wasn't valid, or was it a good email? Going to write up one today. I have not. I sent the email and I have not gotten a kickback from it saying whether or not it was real or not. Someone on. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have a new thing we're gonna do. All right. So Audible, you can send that email still, but we are finding the senior booker for Piers Morgan right here. So here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you guys to partake in this with me right now. When I'm done with this, we will send you guys all over to Megan Fox. Give Michelle Richmond NYU a follow. And we're going to send her a message. She is the senior booker for Piers Uncensored. And she has reposted him up until a few days ago. So it looks like she's actively working with him. Let's go here. Let's do this. Hey, I'm a journalist working on a wild story that needs bigger media attention. Clayton Echard. Echard. Oh, is he not on Twitter? Oh, no, he is. Clayton Echard, former Bachelor on ABC, is in a wild paternity scandal with an accuser who has committed the same act with multiple men in the past. We have unearthed tons of fraud. Continued. All right. Paternity scandal with All right. So all you guys have to do is retweet this. KC Cat gave us some tips on burping. Thank you so much for that. Helping me burp. Yeah, I learned that to put the babies kind of to use their own belly weight to kind of drive the gas up. Thank you. All right, let's send this. I'm a journalist working on a wild story that needs bigger media attention. Former Bachelor on ABC is in a wild paternity scandal with an accuser who has committed the same act with multiple men in the past. I'm going to send this. M. Richmond, NYC. All right, hold on. Where did so I just sent that, but now I have to do a part 2. Oh, you guys have already retweeted this. So continue to retweet this. We unearthed fraudulent ultrasounds. She has admitted to doctoring some. We unearthed a fraudulent cancer claim. She has, what else has she done? There is a growing internet audience investigating all the different, what is her motive, seemingly to trap men into a dating. My opinion is she wants to trap men into a dating contract. Continued. The trial date is a for more info on the it's quite extensive. Go to. Oh, where's the justice for Clayton? Justice for Clayton. Thanks for waiting with me, guys. Geez, where the hell did I got so many tabs open? Hold on a second. Everyone's sending. You guys are so funny. Everyone's sending different people. This is it. You have to listen to me right now. We have to stay isolated. What if we got Barbara Walters? Shut the fuck up. I don't know where my thing went. Here it is. The trial date is in a few weeks. For more info on the go to. Can provide all the forensics. 6 proving she lied to 4 different men. All right. There it is. So there it is. We just sent it to her. Feel free to tag her in whatever ways you want. Here's the first one. It's already gotten. Trust me, she's going to get the notice, and I will let you guys know. T. Underwood said Barb has passed away. Whoops. All right. Thank you guys. Also, Matt Lauer. Anyway, thank you guys for all the super chats. I'm going to I am going to go on to hold on. I'm going to go on to Megan Fox right now.
Let's see if she'll have me on. Oh, I just got a message. Hey, I will speak. Hold on one second. Speak of the devil. Loved you on Piers. Was just gonna reach out. So we're already hearing from. I just got a DM from Andy Signor. And again, we have so much to get into. Maybe he'll join me today. I tell you what, I'll let you guys know on Patreon what the specifics are and what's going down. Just go to patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to know that. And let's see if we can go to Megan Fox. Let's see if I can go to Megan Fox right now here. I'm gonna enter Megan's studio right now. Come on. Hello. How's it going?
Isn't flowing, and I'm just not feeling it for the musical I slaved over all weekend. I can't play it until...
Well, look, I'm on my live and I'm leaving right now.
Oh, cool.
So I'm sending everyone over. Is this how it works?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't I send everyone over? You know what? I'm gonna stay with you guys. Can I just outro my live right now?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Go for it.
that's it for us right now. We're continuing the conversation. I'm going to share all of the new information we have with Megan Fox. She's got a bunch of new information on her end. So thanks again for the super chats. Now go give that breadstick and scone money to Meg over there. That's it for me. Go catch me over there. It'll be live right now. Bye, everybody.